Are you using the right keywords in your Poshmark listings? Because if you're not using these 9, you could be missing out on sales that are literally happening all around you, like right now. Today, we're diving into 9 keywords that are selling like crazy on Poshmark. If you're new here, then welcome to the channel. My name is Lee Meyer. I'm a stay-at-home mom of 4, and I've made well over $100,000, that's net profit, flipping used clothes and other items on sites like eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari. And now I'm on a mission to help as many resellers as I can be able to hit that $100,000 mark for themselves. Now, I've been spending a lot of time researching what the best keywords are that are selling on Poshmark right now. But before we dive on in, I want to take a second to invite you to grab some of my freebies. I've got some amazing things for you, including my best brands list. That's the list of brands that has led me to the $100,000 mark and beyond. I've also got things like a free keywords list, as well as a free $100,000 reseller challenge. All of these freebies you'll find down here in the description below this video. All right, so let's go ahead and dive on into these keywords, because here's the magic of keywords. It can literally change your sales almost overnight. So if you've been struggling with slow sales or no sales, lack of sales, and you've been through that frustration, I know exactly what that's like. And infusing your listings with keywords can literally be the thing that changes everything. But it gets even better than that, because when you understand the types of keywords that we're about to talk about, it actually opens you up to a whole new world of sourcing opportunities where you don't have to be tied down to just brands. You can source based off of styles that people are paying a lot of money for. Before we dive on into the actual keywords that we're going to be covering in this video, I do want to give you a few rules when it comes to using keywords. First up, there's 3 places where you can use keywords. First up is in the title. You want to keep it clean and not overdo it. Don't make keywords your whole entire title. The second place to use keywords is in the first 2 lines of your description. These are really important when it comes to ranking in search results. Those first 2 lines really matter. So make sure that you front load that description with the keywords that describe your item. The third place to use keywords are in the style tags that are built right into Poshmark. You can also go ahead and include them as hashtags in the description if you would like to do that as well. So let me give you an example of this. Instead of saying pink dress for a title, a much better title would be something like cottagecore pink midi dress, puff sleeves floral. And then in the description, you could say something like perfect for spring, cottagecore vibes with romantic, vintage inspired details. That way you're hitting on the season that it's for. Cottagecore, romantic, vintage, those are all terms that buyers are shopping for. And one common mistake to avoid: don't keyword stuff your titles or your descriptions. When you keyword stuff your titles, they can look spammy, and buyers are going to pass right by that. When you keyword stuff your descriptions and include a whole list of every single keyword that has ever been invented, that can be spamming the algorithm, and your item's gonna get shown to more people, but it's not going to be the right people. It's really about getting your items in front of the right buyers. So what you're gonna want to do instead is pick 3 to 5 keywords. And I do wanna stress that in the long run, keyword stuffing will hurt you. It will hurt your ranks in the algorithm. So again, pick 3 to 5 keywords that truly describe the look of the item or the different features of that item. And I definitely would not go more than 10 or 12 keywords. For most items, 3 to 5 keywords is plenty. This first keyword on Poshmark that is selling really well that we're talking about is the Bridgerton or Regency core keyword. So Bridgerton is the popular TV show that's set around the Regency era. So both of those terms really can be used interchangeably, either Bridgerton or Regency core. This first item that I'm showing you is actually a dress that is from Amazon. So it's not any sort of special brand, but the seller did put in that they bought it from Amazon. They've got their pictures there of them wearing it. And that was sold for $65. But I was able to find this dress, what I believe to be the same exact dress, over on Amazon, brand new. And the selling price brand new was $59. So it actually sold for over that price on Poshmark in used condition. This is another example of a dress where the Regency core keyword was used along with fairy tale. So I do want to point out that you can use multiple keywords. This one is actually a dress that came from JCPenney's, and I've seen other dresses that are similar to this, also from JCPenney's, that have sold substantially less, that have almost this exact same style, the ruffles and the flounce. But because the seller knew that that Regency core keyword is highly sought after, they went ahead and took advantage of that. And it's really about knowing what it is that your buyers are shopping for. And it's not just tops or not just dresses to use Regency core and Bridgerton with, but you can use it for other items like tops. And so this was a good example of some tops that kind of really fit with that look. A set of two, those were new, but they sold for $60. But I just wanted to throw those in there because don't limit yourself to just dresses. The next keyword that we're talking about is dopamine. And this is the act of the clothes you wear giving joy through the colors and the brightness. It's really about that just bright, colorful vibe with these clothes. And so this shirt that you're looking at is actually a men's shirt. So dopamine can be a really good keyword when it comes to men's items. And this one is from a made in the USA brand that is called Western Collection. And so that one sold for $99. So any of those things that you come across that are really brightly colored like that, dopamine can be a really good keyword to fit with those. This next one is a terry cloth robe. I also use the keyword dopamine, and it is from the brand Bill Blass, which is a fairly mainstream brand. And they also used geometric, which does fit this pattern really well. That one sold for $50. And then I've got a women's item here for you, and I'm not sure how to say this brand, Michael Soroy maybe. And this is kind of a Western themed knit sweater. You can see the cactus and boots, horseshoes on that, but it does have those bright colors mixed in, and they use dopamine as well as funky. That one sold for $63. This next keyword is romantic. Now, this is a top that is from the brand Chico's, and a lot of the brands like that, Chico's, Coldwater Creek, Talbot's, Banana Republic, and Taylor, a lot of those brands don't really hold their resale value very well. And I don't talk about those brands very much just because most of those items don't. But when you do come across items from those types of brands that fit with a look that buyers are after, that is really popular right now, that is trending, those types of items can do really well when they fit with those aesthetics. And so with this one, they did use a keyword romantic. They also doubled up and used whimsy goth, which we're going to talk about here in a second. Other thing that this item has going for it is it has what is called velvet burnout. So I'm going to zoom in on this fabric, and you can see there where the velvet has been burned away, and it's almost sheer where that velvet is no longer in place. And this is just a technique. You can see there the seller put their hand so you can see that sheer through the material. And so with this, they did use the romantic keyword, I believe, because it has that floral design to it, and as well as the velvet, it kind of has a little bit softer look than just a solid black shirt. But it also does go with the whimsy goth keyword, which we'll talk about here in a second. So that this one is a really good example where it's one of those kind of mainstream brands that usually doesn't hold its resale value very well, but because of those keywords, it did sell for $80. And those fabrics, like I mentioned, that velvet burnout, it's important to be able to describe those fabrics more than just reading off of the material tag. The fabrics are kind of the texture, how those materials are woven together. I do have a fabric poster that goes in depth to all the different fabrics that buyers are out there shopping for. This is another dress where the keyword romantic was used, and this one is just beautiful with that lace trim around the collar there. And this one is a vintage item. This one sold for $107. This is the brand here, Mariella Burani, and there is a wool mark label there, or logo there, I should say. So again, $107 for that item with that romantic keyword. Anything that is going to fit with that, like lace, velvet, any kind of more softer feminine look, can be a really good keyword to use. The next keyword that we're coming into is whimsy goth. And just like that Coldwater Creek item where they doubled up on romantic and whimsy goth, there is a lot of overlap, and don't be afraid to use more than one keyword in your listing. So this one is a dress from a brand that is called Morgan & Co. by Linda Burnell. And with this dress, this one fits with the whimsy goth aesthetic because it has a darker color to it. Now, goth for the most case is just black items, pretty much black on black. With whimsy goth, it is a whimsical version of goth, a little bit lighter, a little bit maybe more on the airy side. You're going to see laces blended in. You're going to see florals just like this. And this dress sold for $120 because of those keywords being used. You're also noticing here in the title that they also used 90s and Y2K. So those are also trending keywords right now. This is another example where the term whimsy goth was used along with romantic, also Victorian. So I do like to point out where those multiple keywords are used. And with this one, there is that floral detail and sequins there around that neckline. This is from what is a mall brand, A Buyer. There's multiple different lines of this, Buyer 2. I could probably go on and on with a half dozen different lines from this brand. A lot of them are made in the USA because it is a little bit older. So that one sold for $55. Unfortunately, with this one, the tag is upside down, but this is a skirt by a brand called Megan Nolan. And with this one, this is actually a tiered skirt, and it does have sequins on it. So see if I can get a closer up picture there for you. But anytime you come across those tiers, anytime you come across velvet, those can be really good indicators to go ahead and use that whimsy goth keyword. You're noticing some other keywords mixed in here as well of grunge, goth. And then down here in the description, I do want to point out that they did use some hashtags, and they just went ahead and labeled those out. They also used style tags, so you'll see those listed in there. That's just what Poshmark has available. Plug in those keywords anywhere and everywhere that you can, because that's going to feed into the algorithm to be able to get your items in front of the right buyers. This next item is one from Coldwater Creek, and this is a dress. And this, again, this is one of those brands where when you compare kind of a maybe lower resale value brand, but it's a name that people know, and then pair that up with these types of keywords that we're talking about, aesthetic keywords, that is where the magic is going to happen. And with this dress, the seller used the keyword whimsy goth. You're noticing down here in the description, I do want to point this out, some additional keywords. So you've got whimsy goth, goth, fairy, grunge, boho. So that's a good example of not overdoing it, but using keywords that fit with the look of this item. So let me go ahead and show you what this looks like. This is a brown midi dress, and it's got that kind of hanky hem on there. It's got some beadwork, some sequining, some floral design mixed in. And really, it does fit with that whimsy goth as well as these other keywords the seller used. And this is a really good example of utilizing those keywords to be able to get more money for your item. And this one sold for $52. This next keyword that we're talking about is what is called coastal cowgirl. This has a little bit of a cowgirl vibe, but a little bit more pastels, more beachy feel, more casual feel to these items. So this one is a dress from a brand that is called Newport News. If you do happen to come across this brand, it can be a really good brand to pair up with these different style keywords. This is the dress. You notice that it is a little bit lighter color. It's more of, pastel colors. It does have some tiers there at the bottom. That one sold for $75. This is another example of that coastal cowgirl keyword. That is a mouthful, but with this keyword, this is a really good, and with a lot of these keywords, they can really tie into different accessory types of items, whether it's shoes, whether it's bags. And so this is an example where that coastal cowgirl keyword was used on a pair of boots. And then this is from a brand that's called Dan Post. This is a really solid, really good brand if you come across this, by the way. But these boots really fit with that coastal cowgirl look. And this is what the boot looks like. And you can see it has that lighter color mixed in, almost a little bit of a floral design to that. And those sold for $76. This is another example of an accessory type of item, a hat. This is an unbranded hat. Very kind of unique design, but they did front load the title of this title with the keyword coastal cowgirl. And that was sold for $50. Now, this is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to these keywords. I do have lots more to go through, but if you're looking to go in depth, I do have a poster that covers 80 different keywords. They're all there visually in front of you to be able to get your listings typed up in seconds. I'm going to link to that resource over here for you. This next item is another one where they did use that coastal cowgirl keyword, but this one is a little bit more towards the western side than really more of that kind of beachy look, but it still works pretty well for this item. You're going to notice the fringe all along the front and the back of this, as well as the rhinestones. That one sold for $55. This next keyword is ballet core, and this is really about kind of mimicking the look of a ballerina. You're going to see a lot of pastels with this. You're going to see a lot of more form-fitted dresses, maybe some fit and flares mixed in, but kind of a more feminine silhouette. This one does happen to be a black item, so it doesn't have that kind of light pink pastels or light blue pastels. It is black, but it does fit with this ballet core. You can see the lace down here in the skirt, and then also that scoop there at the neckline. And that one sold for $59. This next item is another dress, and this does fit with the ballet core. It does have that kind of just light pastel color to it. Anytime you come across straps like this that are crisscross or lace up details, that can be another good indicator to use that ballet core keyword. And this dress sold for $69. This is an example of kind of that really soft pastel pink and lace mixed in there up at the neckline of this dress. This is from ModCloth, and this dress sold for $55 using ballet core there in the title. This next keyword is cottage core. This is a keyword that is really popular, and it can fit with a lot of different items, a lot of different looks. And this is really about kind of countryside cottage living, very laid back, kind of casual. You're going to see a lot of florals. You're going to see a lot of tiered skirts and dresses. You're going to see maxi length dresses with this. You'll also see some knits mixed in, some plaids mixed in, but it's really about kind of just a casual look. And so this one is a nightgown that you're looking at, vintage nightgown, and then that one sold for $50. I want to point out here at the neckline just some beautiful eyelet detailing as well as embroidery. This is another item where that cottage core keyword was used, and this is from a brand that is called Lands Originals or Lands Originals, and this is a vintage brand. It's made in the USA, and this one sold for $97. It does have a very interesting collar on it as well as floral print. Anytime you see kind of crochet like that, that can be another really good indicator to use that cottage core keyword. This is another example of an item that fit with the cottage core aesthetic that is plaid. This one is a nightgown that happens to be from Victoria's Secret, and this is a Victoria's Secret gold label. So if you do come across one of these gold labels, just bonus tip here, with Victoria's Secret, that does indicate that it's an older item, and there can be some really good demand for these gold labels with Victoria's Secret. So this one sold for $65. Got more keywords on the way, but I want to quickly mention my Empowered Reseller membership program. This is where resellers are getting the biggest results, the fastest sales, and watching their average sale prices climb. Each and every month, my VIPs inside of the program get access for free to my monthly sourcing box. These are deep dives into lucrative clothing niches designed to help you make more money with every single sale. It comes with expert training, the best BOLO items, the keywords to use to boost your profits, and so much more. And I give these sourcing boxes for free to all of my VIPs. Plus, you get the entire Empowered Reseller Course Master Vault. access to me for my live monthly Q&As that I do with my members, where I'm able to answer questions, do things like store reviews, account reviews, listing reviews for my members to get their sales turned around and going in the right direction. You can learn more about the Empowered Reseller membership program in the description below this video, and I would love to be able to welcome you into our VIP community soon. This next keyword that is really trending on Poshmark is fairy or fairy core. And what you're looking at is a dress from Free People where they used that fairy keyword. You're going to see it in the title as well as the description. They did call this gauze, but it looks to me it's some sort of mesh, maybe tulle. You can see the sequins there at the top of that dress. Beautiful. And that one sold for $61. With this fairy look, it is very light. There's usually lighter colors. There's also dark fairy, by the way, that incorporates darker colors. But you're going to see lighter weight fabrics with a lot of these items like tulle, like mesh. You're also going to see things like asymmetrical hem or hanky hem with this fairy look. This is another top that used the keyword fairy, and this is from the brand Moda International. This is actually a velvet top where it has an off-the-shoulder design as well as lace there around the neckline of the dress. You're seeing some button detailing there at the neckline as well. That one sold for $102 just for a simple top like that. And that really goes to show how much these types of keywords are in demand. I do also want to make that this is a velvet item, which does seem to be a super popular fabric right now that does fit with a lot of these different keywords. You're going to notice in this item that they did double up on fairy as well as grunge, which brings me to the next keyword that we're headed into. This is another one where they did use both of those keywords, grunge as well as fairy. And this is a dress from the brand Dolls Kill. Unfortunately, there's not a good label picture with this one. But I also want to point out with this dress, it does have a lace up detail here at the bust, and then it ties up there at the neckline. It kind of gives it a little bit of a corset look, which is another really popular look right now that does fit with a lot of these keywords that we've talked about in this video. And this dress with that floral print, which is awesome, that one sold for $55. This is another dress with floral print, and this one they just used the keyword grunge. There's no fairy in here, just grunge. Down here on the bottom, you're going to see maybe a few more keywords mixed in, floral, grunge, and then feminine. There they said, I think, pair with combat boots and feminine cardigan. That can be a way to kind of sneak in some extra keywords. May not get you in front of the right buyers, but maybe it could help. And so there is that floral print on this dress. It is a button-up dress. It's kind of a shirt dress design. That one sold for $50. And that grunge keyword can be really good when it comes to men's items. There's a lot of men's items that sell with the grunge keyword. So if you're looking for keywords specific to men's items, this is one of them. If you're looking for other men's keywords, I do have a video I'm going to link to up here. So this is a hoodie that is from Jerseys. So there is the brand there, but this one actually has Monster Energy on the front of it. So there's what that looks like. It is missing the drawstring there at the hood, so I do want to point that one out. But that one sold for $63 with the keyword grunge, as well as skater and Y2K. So again, use those keywords that fit with the item. This is another one where they went ahead and used grunge. This is another men's hoodie. Had to show this one because I love this brand Oakley. If you come across any of their items, and they do make current items as well as older items, but with this sweatshirt, it does kind of fit with that grunge look. That one sold for $60. These keywords are your secret weapon to getting found and getting sold. So I'd love to know, which one are you going to add to your listings today? And if you found this video helpful, go ahead and give it a thumbs up as well as subscribe, because I've got so much more planned that is coming your way when it comes to keywords, bolos, and really boosting your sales as a used clothing reseller. So drop a comment with your favorite keyword or one that has been working for you lately. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next video soon.